Moving on to the non-consent agenda. Item, can't see my number, 7, is it?
7A.
7A. Consider approval and adoption and publication of the third reading of ordinance number 1105, amending the official zoning map for 12 acres from C3 to CD from C3 and CD to C3 with conditions. The subject property is located at 5055 Merle Hay Road, PC case 23-13. David?
No changes from previous reading and no additional.
Council have any questions for David? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve third and final reading of ordinance number 1105 and to adopt and publish?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Sam, vote please.
Ready,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Martin,
yes,
Burkhart,
Yes.
Pope.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item 7B, consider resolution number 23-199, approving and authorizing the purchase of certain real property and authorizing execution of a real estate purchase agreement with NNN REIT LP.
Good evening. This is something that's been discussed at the Economic Development Committee in particular in the past. It's taken some time to work through the process, but this would be the acquisition of just over a half an acre of size of a parcel located at the eastern end of the Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh on the south end of Merle Hay Road in the Gateway. This property in particular would be used to support the planned canoe kayak launch onto Beaver Creek and adjacent to the Bombers development. So this would this action would allow us to close on that property, and we're tentatively targeting a late September closing pending action on this. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council have any questions?
David, which part of it that we are buying?
It's the blue, sorry, it's the blue hatched.
Okay.
So it's the back eastern, about half acre of the parcel that Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh is on.
Okay.
Other questions for David?
And the Hy-Vee is not the landowner, right?
Hy-Vee is not the landowner, they are the tenant. The NNN REIT group is the landowner. As part of the property acquisition, there is some easement reworking that's been done on the access drive between the property owner. Hy-Vee is listed on that as well as the tenant. And Bombers are all listed as part of that. So they've worked out shared maintenance responsibilities on that access drive that they share at the stoplight as you head back to the east through the Hy-Vee drive.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions for David? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve resolution number 23-199?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Sam, vote please.
Evans,
Yes.
Martin,
yes,
Burkhart,
Yes.
Pope,
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item 7C, consider first reading of ordinance number 1103, amending ordinances numbers 487, 733, 790, 847, 953, and 999, providing the general property taxes levied and collected each year on certain property located within the amended Beaver Creek West Economic Development Urban Renewal Area in the city of Johnston, County of Polk, state of Iowa, by and for the benefit of the state of Iowa, city of Johnston, County of Polk, Johnston Community School District, and other taxing districts, be paid to a special fund for payment of principal and interest on loans, monies advanced to, and indebtedness, including bonds issued or to be issued, incurred by the city in connection with the amended Beaver Creek West Economic Development Urban Renewal Area. David, that's a mouthful.
I apologize, I don't write those. Those come from Allers. As the council should recall, back in, I think, May, we made some changes and adopted an updated urban renewal plan for the Beaver Creek West urban renewal area. That's the area outlined in blue plus the red hatched area. At that time, we removed the area hatched in pink on the map that's on the screen. That created plan allows for granting of economic development assistance, public improvements that are outlined in the plan, et cetera. Tonight's action is necessary to actually start the TIF collection. So this is the next step in that process. And as with the next item on your agenda, that's what we'd be doing for the 86th Street one as well. But that's the action before you tonight. I guess with that simple explanation, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council have any questions for David?
So the new canes, raising canes is included in that red hashed area.
Included in that red hatched area, that's correct.
So they would be, part of their money would be going into this TIF, when it, part of their tax, property
Their
tax,
increment will be going into this district, correct?
Okay.
Yep.
as needed by,
Yep.
not, there was no increment going in unless there's a need. Is that kind of how it works, I believe, right?
Correct. Yeah, we only collect increment if there's a need to pay off debt or a need to
Right.
pay for something out of within the district. Yeah.
Okay.
Other questions for David? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve first reading of ordinance number 1103?
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Sample, please.
Martin,
Yes.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item 7D, consider first reading of ordinance number 1104, providing that general property tax is levied and collected each year on certain property located within the Northwest 86th Street urban renewal area in the city of Johnston, county of Polk, state of Iowa, by and for the benefit of the state of Iowa, city of Johnston, county of Polk, Johnston Community School District, and other taxing districts be paid to a special fund for the payment of principal and interest on loans, monies advanced to, and indebtedness, including bonds issued or to be issued incurred by the city in connection with the Northwest 86th Street urban renewal area. David.
Good evening again. As similar to the last action item, back in May, the city council adopted a new urban renewal area plan for what we're calling TIF 7 or the Northwest 86th Street TIF. So this will be a new area that really encompasses undeveloped and or vacant properties along Northwest 86th Street and includes the right-of-way up to Northwest 70th Avenue of 86th Street. So that includes the Price Chopper, the undeveloped portions of the Roughwood development, as well as the vacant buildings in the Crescent Chase area near Northwest 62nd Avenue. As a new TIF district, this action would start the ability for the city to collect incremental taxes in this area, and as well as provide incentives based on the urban renewal plan. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions on this one.
Any questions for David?
David, can I ask a rather dumb question here? As I see this district, and it has the little, as it extends north on 86th Street, is the pullouts, or are the pullouts on 86th Street included for the potential of future growth? Is there a reason why, or is it just because they're already part of public thoroughfares?
These little bump outs here,
Yeah,
those would all be little chunks of right-of-way.
okay,
We're just picking up the full right-of-way. It's not any private property in those areas.
okay, thank you.
I think most of those are drainage ways where we probably acquired extra right-of-way over time for culverts and such.
All right, thanks.
Yep. Does look funny, though.
Good question. Other questions? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve first reading of ordinance number 1104?
I move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Sam, vote please.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Martin.
yes,
Motion passed. Item 7E, consider resolution number 23-209, establishing the public hunting areas for the 2023-24 urban bow hunt program.
Madam Mayor, David Kroll with the Community Development Department. As you may recall from last year, since Jim Sanders retired, he's passed the torch on to me to handle the administration of the urban bow hunt here in Johnston. And this is about the time of year that we come forward to you and bring the approval of the public areas, which consist of 3 of our parks, and then also 2 areas that we don't manage or administer the hunt, but because the way our ordinance is structured, we have to approve those grounds in U.S. Army Corps of Engineers property. And they have a ranger that administrates that and enforces the penalties. And then also Polk County Conservation administers the area along Sycamore that is actually owned by the Army Corps of Engineers, but Polk County Conservation maintains and does the law enforcement for that side. So really tonight before you, we're approving all the public hunting areas for the 23-24 urban bow hunt season, but particularly areas D, E, and C on the map that is basically the east part of Lou Clarkson Park, the west part of the Beaver Creek Natural Resource Area, west of Terra Park proper, and then also the Triangle Park down off of Northwest Johnston Drive that we refer to as Prairie Point Crossing. I'd be happy to entertain any questions that you have at this time.
I do have a question, Dave. What is the setback from the property boundaries for hunting? I mean, is there I mean, you can't stand on the edge within a foot of the boundary and shoot, or can you?
Correct. There's several setbacks. The one most instance in the case of the parks is you cannot release an arrow within 100 feet of basically the public right-of-way line.
Mhm.
So in the case of Prairie Point Crossing, for example, it borders along Johnston Drive. So a hunter can't even be set up within 100 feet of the south right-of-way line of Johnston Drive. So, and then all shots must be taken in the direction opposite of that setback line. So there are other setbacks, including a 100-foot setback from either side of a publicly used trail. There's a setback within 300 feet of a school or a publicly registered state of Iowa state. So you might see some of those maybe later if we entertain, at a later council meeting, I might entertain bringing some private property owners that have requested their property be hunted.
And you manage how many hunters are allowed on these properties at the same time?
Well, the most popular area is obviously the Beaver Creek Natural Resource Area, or Area 3 on the map that's in the packet. We only allow 8 hunters in that area, and those hunters would have to have hunted with us before and been successful and had no issues. They actually line up here at City Hall at 8 o'clock in the morning, like the 3rd week of August. So that's a pretty popular area. But in total, last year, I believe we had 16 total hunters that participated in our program. And that ranges anywhere from property owners that want to hunt their own property to others from other communities that come in to hunt here.
And the harvest was down.
Yes, the harvest was down, but we only harvested 13 deer last year, 12 does and 1 incentive buck. But from the 3 meetings that I went to with the Polk County Deer Task Force in the region, the harvest was down a little bit too. I don't know about the overall state harvest, but anecdotally, the hunters that hunt for us have also told me that it's been more difficult to harvest deer in our parks. And that could be for a lot of reasons. That could be due to car deer accidents. It could be due to attrition. Deer succumb to EHD, which is a disease that they call blue tongue for short. And then also just the cycle of nature. Sometimes the does won't have as many fawns. But I think we are definitely, the other thing too is that we're doing our job. We're keeping, the Polk County Deer Task Force would like to see in the urban areas of a balance, if you will, of about 35 deer per square mile. And I think according to the wildlife biologist with the Polk County Deer Task Force and the DNR, he thinks that we're really close to that number.
Hey, Dave, it might be helpful if you pulled up the map too, just.
Yeah,
people could
Cindy,
see
do you
it.
have that map in the packet or? Oh, I got it right here. Sorry, that's my,
No, that's, I know you're the map guy, so I figured. I'm kind of a map guy, and I appreciate that too, so.
I'm new to board docs too, so that doesn't help much.
So in the staff report, it says that the Johnston public property harvest was 8 total deer, all from Area E Terra Park. But is that really more Beaver Creek Nature Area than Terra Park?
Yes, yeah, I kind of combine that whole area into one, but if you see what's actually outlined here in blue,
Yeah,
is really the only areas that are hunted, because those areas are outside those setbacks that we referred to based on trails and everything. So the more populous part of the park to the east where the pond is and over the embankment, those hunters have to stay back at least 100 feet from where the concrete paved trail goes around there. And each year we do put up signs in the fall
right.
that
Yeah,
denote
yeah.
that there could be bow hunting occurring in those areas.
But so it says Terra Park, but for the most part, most of the hunting is probably in the Beaver Creek Nature Area. Because just given, you got to stay off of Pioneer Parkway by a certain amount, and you got a trail
Exactly.
through there. and
It's mostly east of Beaver Creek proper, but it kind of aligns with like where the old sewer alignment runs through there.
Oh, yeah, we remember that.
So that's kind of where it is, but it really doesn't get up into the area. And there's a special setback actually in that area too. I have a more detailed map for the hunters, like the area where the under 5 playground is and whatnot. There's actually even a special setback. We keep them like 200 feet away from that.
Right.
Basically, even with the big pile of the observation lookout area there, if you go down, follow the road back past the wood chip pile, there's a
Right.
big observation hill, and that's kind of the far west boundary.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions for David? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve resolution number 23-209?
So moved.
Second,
A motion and a second discussion. Sam, vote please.
Martin,
Yes.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope,
yes,
Ready,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item 7F, consider approval of claims in the amount of $1,054,806.42. Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Sam, vote please.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope,
yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Motion passed. Moving on to city administrator staff comments. Mike?
Just a quick reminder that the Jedco bus tour is set for October 11th. That'll begin at 2:30. I understand tickets are actually selling out quickly, so if you have not registered, I encourage you to register. They actually are well into the second bus of filling, so if you haven't done that, please register. Otherwise, I'm going to turn it over to Matt. I think he had a couple projects he wanted to update the council on tonight. Thank you.
Good evening. I just wanted to give a quick couple of updates on projects. Last year, a contractor on 94th Street, we kind of put some asphalt over an area that was holding water. We met out there last week. The contractor started this morning to repair that area, so it'll be about a 2 to 3 week process. They will be utilizing half of 91st at a time to make that repair. So the residents do have access in and out, but hope to be done, like I said, within 3 weeks on that project to button that one up. Merle Hay and Johnston Drive project. We finally got the comms off of the poles late last week. One of them was still getting off yet today, but Burns Electric has been out there pulling poles, the old poles. So we'll get the contractor back in, and he's got about 2 to 3 weeks of work left to do once he moves back in to get restoration done, a little bit of the trail buttoned up, and then we do have some median work there at Johnston Drive on the east side. So, and pavement markings as well on Johnston Drive. So those projects are moving. Took us a little bit to get there, but we'll get them buttoned up. Little Beaver Creek, segment 2A has started. The contractor is out on site. He was there last week and got that project underway as well. So any questions on those projects? All right, and one clarifying, Councilman Cope asked earlier about pumps. Are they all the same? They are all a 2 horsepower residential pumps. We do have new technology that comes out, but it is the same style of pump. We don't introduce the larger horsepower pumps or the commercial size pumps. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Any other staff comments? Seeing none, city council comments. Councilman Evans,
I'm good, thank you.
Councilman Reddy,
I pass, thanks.
Councilman Cope,
I'm good, thank you.
Councilman Burkhardt.
I'm great,
Oh,
thank
holy
you.
cow, this can't happen.
I'm not going to break a streak. I have no
No
comment.
pressure.
Well, I'll just quickly remind everyone, the Mayor's Run for Trails is coming up this weekend. It's just a fun run, and we provide some of the best door prizes of any runs in anywhere, I think. So if you're not doing anything Saturday morning, please join us for the Mayor's Run for Trails. The proceeds go to support our trails, so it's a great little fundraiser for us. Also want to thank everyone that was involved in the Sunday in the Park last night. We had some weather challenges again this year, but at least we were inside, so we were better able to deal with it. But I think even with the rain that we had a great turnout. And so a lot of participation from the city as well as from the schools. And I know it's an event that our families look forward to every year. And the way I describe it is it's kind of the last hurrah before school starts. You know, families can get together, have some ice cream, share their stories about their summer vacations, and then pretty soon the buses are going to start rolling. So great little event. And there was one, and on the 19th, the kids triathlon is going to be over at Terra Park again this year. And I think it's probably about the 6th, 7th year that they've been there? 8th year. It's the kind of the culmination of all of the Rip Roar Kids Triathlon events that occur throughout the state. And if you have never attended one, I would certainly encourage you to do it. It's pretty inspiring to see those 5-year-old little girls and boys jump into Terra Lake and swim across. I mean, I couldn't do it, but they do it. They're just fearless. So it's an incredible event. So I would encourage you just to stop by and just check it out. And I think with that, I have shared any comments I wanted to. So is there anything else for the good of the order? If not, we are adjourned.